You could wake up tomorrow and choose to be a completely different person. You could choose to be unrecognizable, to be someone you never thought you would be. The reason for that is that our mind is not set in stone. Our mind is malleable, and you can choose to be whoever you want to be. Hey beautiful, my name is Bella and I'm so happy you're here today. I want to talk about neuroplasticity, which is just such an amazing concept that neuroscience has very recently discovered. Neuroplasticity is our mind's ability to create new neural pathways. It can rearrange itself to create new pathways it didn't have before. What this means in practice is that we can change, our mind can change. Nothing that you are, none of your weaknesses, none of your disadvantages are set in stone. You could literally choose to make them different. You could choose to be someone who you are not today. Our mind gives us that capacity to learn new things and to be people we would never have expected to be before. It also means that our mind is limitless. There is no limit to the amount of information we can absorb. There is no limit to the amount of abilities we can learn, to the amount of talents we can have, to the amount of education we are able to receive. And this is so impressive when you think about it, because it's kind of like our brain's storage space is infinite. You can always learn new things, and your mind will create new neural pathways to adapt to those new learnings. So one of the things that really annoys me is when people say, oh, I cannot change, I cannot be better, I cannot do different because I am like this. This is who I am. This is the way I work. This is who I am. That isn't true. That is false and that is a lie, because even though you are that way right now, you don't have to be that way. We can always choose to be different, and we can always choose to act different, to think differently, because our brain gives us that capacity. So for example, let's say you live with someone who screams a lot, and they're like, oh, but you just need to get used to me because this is the way I speak, this is the way I am. That is not true. That is a lie, because you can choose to be different. We have this idea in which our traits, the things that make up our character, they are set in stone. They are a certain way and they are never able to change because it's simply who we are. But that is not true, because our brain has the capacity to change who we are. It has the capacity to learn new abilities, like the ability of speaking on a low tone, like the ability of not screaming. So none of your weaknesses are set in stone, and I find this so liberating. It's so freeing to think that all of your negative traits can be undone. And of course it takes effort to create a new neural pathway and to erase the old neural pathway you had, but it is possible. It is a capacity that our brain has. So I'll give an example. When I grew up, I didn't play any sports, and on PE, for example, I used to hate it because I had no experience with sports, especially sports around balls. So I was always so bad at them. I just thought it was something of my personality. I just thought it was something about me, about my identity, that I'm not good at sports. I'm not good at exercising. I'm not good at anything that involves my body physically. It is just not for me. It is not something I am capable of doing. It is not something I am good at. And then I realized that even though I always had that about a personal weakness that I had, that I'm not good at sports, I could simply change that. And when I realized that I could change that, it was a very mind-opening moment, because I'm like, wait, what if I just train really hard and I become good at sports? And I can just change that. I can just change a part of what I thought made up my identity. And that was when I started trying out different sports. I did soccer, for example, for a year, which I learned that I don't really enjoy I don't enjoy sports with balls. I did learn that, but it was fun. I wasn't bad at it. I tried really hard and I put a lot of effort, and I realized that it wasn't part of my identity that I was bad at soccer. It was just something that I didn't enjoy doing, and that's completely fine. There are gonna be things we enjoy and things that we don't like to do. And then I tried other sports. I did martial arts, for example, and I learned that I really, really like martial arts. I did it for a bit, like a good time. When I moved, I stopped doing it. I kind of want to get back into it now. But I realized, like, I am good at this. I can be good at this. This is a sport in which I can excel in if I put effort and if I put time into it. And then I did horseback riding, and then I did surfing. Right now I'm into surfing. And I go to the gym a lot because I know that even though I'm not the strongest, I can be. I can exercise my body and put effort into it and be someone completely different from what I thought before, from what I thought my capacities were. And when I realized this, then I realized, wow, it's so amazing how powerful our mind is, because I had been the one to put the limit in myself. I had been the one to tell myself that I wasn't good at sports. And then I became good at sports because I realized that I could, that my mind has the capacity to learn. It has the ability to know new things and to try new things and to excel at new things. So it's just so amazing how you don't have to be who you are. If you don't like a part of your identity, if you don't like a part of your character, then you can choose to change it. So let's say that you are someone who is always late, and you're like, oh, but it's okay because everyone already knows that I'm always late. It's part of who I am. It's part of my character. If you want to change that, then you can change that. It's not something set in stone. You can start getting ready before, and you can start being more careful looking at the time. And I say this as someone who has struggled for a long time with being late. It was just something that I always did. I didn't really organize myself, and I got very late into places. And I just decided I don't need to be this. I can just organize myself and I can plan earlier. And if I choose to, I can get to events on time and earlier. And what I'm trying to say is that when you realize how malleable your brain is, then there really is no limit. You don't need to have any weaknesses, because there is great power in being self-conscious. When you know where your weaknesses lie, then you can fix them, because your brain allows you to mold it and to fix it. So let's say you suffer a lot with procrastination, and you're like, oh, I'm not going to be able to do anything about it because it is part of who I am. I am naturally a procrastinator. I have a very hard time being disciplined and following the things that I promised myself I would do. What I'm telling you is that you don't need to be a procrastinator. Your mind is not set in stone. None of your character traits are fixed. They're not something that are going to be there forever. I mean, they are if you don't choose to create new neural pathways. If you don't do anything, if you don't work towards a change, then it's always going to be that same neural pathway. But if you are conscious of that, oh, I am a procrastinator, but I don't have to be. I can choose to be someone who is very disciplined, who is very hardworking, who always keeps the promises I make to myself. Then I can create a new neural pathway of being those things I just described. Or let's say, for example, oh, I am a very lazy person. You don't need to be a lazy person. Even though you think that being lazy is part of your identity, is part of your character, that it is a trait, you can choose to create a new trait. You can choose to be a very energized person who is always very excited to do things. But you're like, Bella, but I can't. Like, I'm just always lazy and I'm tired and I want to stay in my bed. And the reason you feel it is so difficult to stop being lazy is that you have told yourself that you have that weakness so many times that it has become a fact. And that now for you to not have that weakness anymore is so much harder, because your mind already took that as something that is set in stone. It already understood, okay, I am lazy, that is a fact, period. But it is not. It is not a fact, because you can choose to change it. You can choose to be someone new. And when you realize that, guys, infinite, like the possibilities are infinite. And if you're like, okay, Bella, I am a procrastinator, how do I change that? How can I create this new neural pathway in which I don't have to be trapped in this weakness that I believe is a part of who my personality is, of who my character is? Then I would tell you to prove yourself otherwise. Put effort into dedicating time to the new person you want to be. So the opposite of being a procrastinator, for example, is being someone very disciplined. How can you make that neural pathway of being someone disciplined? You need to prove yourself that you are disciplined. You need to keep the promises that you make to yourself. Let's say, for example, that you want to wake up early, exercise, and eat a healthy breakfast. Those are the 3 things you need to do in your morning. Then you need to do them every day, and it's going to be hard. I know it's going to be hard because your mind now understands that you're a procrastinator, so it's always going to want to wait until the last second possible. But you need to tell it, no, I am disciplined. I can do this. I can do this because I have promised myself that I will do this. And if you do this, which I know that you can, then your mind will start, oh, so you're not a procrastinator anymore. You're disciplined. And it's going to create a new neural pathway. The creation of that pathway, it is going to be challenging because you're going to have to unteach yourself these habits that you had created and teach yourself new habits that are going to make you that new person you want to be. But eventually, when that pathway is created, when you have that already made in your mind, then it's going to be so much easier because it's going to be your new automatic stage. It's going to be your new normal. That new pathway is going to be the normal. The old one, it is not going to exist anymore. It's going to become this new one. So then it's going to be hard for you to become a procrastinator because now your mind understands that you are someone disciplined. Let's go with the laziness example. Now your mind understands that you are someone lazy, but if you prove to your mind otherwise, that you are someone who has so much energy to live, that you love living life, that you want to try new things and you want to do things that get you excited and that fill you with energy, then it will start creating this new pathway. And this transition, like I said, is going to be hard. But after a while, when it's already done, when it's constructed inside your mind, this is going to be your new normal. So you're not going to be lazy anymore. Now your mind understands that you are someone full of energy, that you are someone who loves living life and who gives your all every single day. So I know that the transformation is hard, but when the new neural pathway is completed, then it will become your new normal. It will become easy for you to do that because that is part of who you are. That is part of your new identity. And guys, it's so powerful that you can choose to just do that today. You can choose to start today building a new neural pathway. You can choose to change your habits because these pathways, they are made by what you tell yourself, by what you spend your time doing, by what you're doing today. Because what you're dedicating yourself to and what you're telling yourself while you dedicate your time is what is going to make up that new neural pathway. And this is just something I love, love, love with all my heart because it means that you can be whoever you want to be. You can be not perfect. I'm not going to say perfect because perfect means that there's like no weaknesses at all, but you can be the person you strive to be because no weaknesses that you have are set in stone. Every single character trait you have can be made even stronger or it can be eliminated because your mind has that power. And that is just so impressive. You can literally choose to be whoever you want to be. So yeah, I really hope I was able to help you today. If you like this video, please subscribe so you can keep on supporting my work. And I love you all so much. Bye!